YouTube, welcome back to another video. Your favorite 22, well, now 23-year-old owner-operator. Today I got something pretty exciting for y'all. Today we're going to the ports. So first thing I gotta do, I gotta go to Chassis Depot and pick up a 20-foot chassis because we gotta take out a 20-foot container from APM Terminals here in Jersey. And then we gotta drop that somewhere. We gotta come back and pick up a container that's already here in the yard that I pulled last weekend. And I believe we're gonna export that. That means we gotta take it to the port and let the machine take the container off our chassis, bring the chassis back to Chassis Depot, and then we'll go from there. Not gonna lie, I've been going in and out of the port now for about a week. And the system is pretty simple. The only thing that's kind of difficult is really just navigating through the port. Obviously, you know, when you're new, you don't really know the map of the port. So today we're gonna be going to APM Terminals, which is, I don't know if that's Newark or if that's Elizabeth, New Jersey, but I've already been there a bunch of times, so I kind of know APM. Now, the only thing about the port is that they're pretty strict on recording. Like, if somebody catches you recording, at least the workers don't really care, but if somebody important from the port catches you recording, you get suspended for 2 weeks. So just bear with me if my recording is a little shaky. I definitely don't want to get suspended from the port. You know, I'm kind of new here and I'm liking the system, and I'm trying to get my trucks into the port. So I'm going to try my best to show you guys the system, how you get checked into the port, how you figure out where your container is, and then how you communicate with the guy up there in the machine so that he can put the container on your chassis. So let's get it. I'm going to answer this question off rip because I know a lot of you guys are going to be asking. The port is pretty federal, you know. So not everybody can just come into the port and haul stuff out of the port. It's not like a load board where you can book loads. You actually gotta either go through the process of getting your company and your trucks in the port yourself, or it's a little bit easier is you come into the port through somebody that already has an account, which is what I did. So to come into the port, you need one thing, which is your TWIC card. Now for your TWIC card, they do a whole background check of your entire life. So if you've ever had any type of criminal federal record, you know, any felonies, any, you know, charges, anything like that, you won't be able to get into the ports since, you know, like I said, this is federal. So once you get approved for your TWIC card, it's like $125 and it lasts 5 years. Then if you're coming into the port through somebody, you got to get something called a C-Link. Your C-Link is pretty much like your company ID. Every time you go into the port, you put your C-Link ID into the machine and it prints out, you know, depending on your appointment, it prints out what container you got to pull out and it gives you all the information. So we just pulled up to the area where all the ports are at, and from here you can pretty much guide yourself by the signs. I don't know if you guys can see there, it says Chassis Depot. This is the port that we're going to be pulling that container out of. That's APM Terminals. As you guys can see, bobtails to the left, any chassis being returned to the right. You guys can see you got bobtails with me, and then all you got to do is pull up to any one of these, park up at that second stop sign there, and you come to the window and let them know what type of chassis you need, because there's different ones. 3 things you got to give them: what size chassis you need, what type of chassis you need, and then your company code. Hold on. C-Link numbers. I need a 20-foot Metro. Appreciate it, bro. So boom, you give him that information, you print out your ticket. He prints out the ticket, he gives it to you, and then you just work your way to where the 20-footers are, or 40-footers, feel me? So once you come from the line where you get your receipt and everything, all the 20-footers are right down there. Where I pick up my chassis from is right here. Any one of these 20-foot chassis, you kind of gotta get out, check the tires, and, you know, not take a shitty one pretty much. So boom, we're picking up a 20-foot Metro, and I just like to come around and check the tires and see if, you know, the pins are good. Sometimes those pins are missing. You guys would be surprised. Make sure these pins are good. Just give it like an overall little inspection. You know what I'm saying? So it looks like we're gonna take this one. Go. So yeah, y'all, once you pick the chassis that you feel like, you feel comfortable with, you check the tires, you check the overall condition of it, all you got to do is pretty much back up to it. And then once you leave, they'll take down the number of whatever chassis you pick, and they'll put it in the system, because the company, right, whether it's your company or whether it's the company that you're working for, gets charged for the rental of this chassis. Oh, there we go, we in there. Check that our kingpin is locked. Always gotta come down here and make sure, you can barely see it, but you see that kingpin is locked. Now we're gonna put our airlines on. Our boom, airlines and electrical lines are on there. Now we grab our glove and let the landing gear up. All right, so now this is where you get checked out with your container. That's where you checked in, went in through there. Now this is where we get checked out of. These 20-foot containers are pretty popular in the port, and you would think that they weigh less than a 40-foot, but it actually doesn't. It actually weighs more. So we gotta hand them our ticket and get our chassis. How's it going, boss? Morning. Thank you. How's it going? Cool. So they print you out another long-ass piece of paper, and then you gotta go through one more guard shack, and you're gonna give them the first piece of paper, and that's pretty much gonna be your checkout. First thing you do, coming through here, get scanned, then off to the next one. All right, so once we pass that scan machine camera thingamajig, it pretty much scans your chassis and all your containers for damages and whatnot, and it also, you know, all that good shit. Now, once you get past that, you're gonna go over here. There's a whole lot of lanes, a whole lot of numbers. You just gotta read and figure out which one you are. Are you a chassis? Are you a container? What are you? So these white ones, you can't really see it from here, but it says chassis pool, some shit like that, which clearly I have a chassis. I'm coming to get loaded. I like to come up behind people that are in the process of getting checked in, just so I could go around my chassis, make sure my pins are unlocked. You know, just go run through it one more time before I get loaded. All right, so I'm about to get the green light. Here, you pretty much just got to put your C-Link card in, and it'll print out your appointment ticket. All right, yeah, so got the green light. We got our appointment ticket printed. Now all we got to do is follow this lane. Goes all the way down there, and you'll end up where all the columns of containers are. And it's time for you to check what row, what number, what all that your container's in. So this is what your appointment ticket will look like. You'll have your container number all the way at the left. See, it says pickup number. Then you have your row number. This is what you're gonna look for in the signs, right? That's the row. And then you have your slot number. Your slot number is where you're gonna park at. I'm gonna show you guys how we do it. Y'all see it, G307, the numbers keep going down. I always gotta make way for these guys. Sometimes they're in the middle of unloading, loading. They have the right of way, pretty much always. Right, yeah, we found G206. Now we just gotta park at number 19. All right, yeah, so let me explain to y'all what's going on. So this blue truck is parked where I'm supposed to be parked at, right? So I have to wait for that machine up there to get him his container, and then I move up and park at the number where I'm supposed to be parked at, look for my container, and then I gotta communicate with that guy up there so that he can put my container on my chassis. Right, yeah, so I found my container, first line, top one, let's go. So now once you make sure that container's on there good, you wanna make sure to lock your pins. Boom, that's the lock position. Right, look, lock position. We're gonna lock every single one of these. Make sure it's locked. I'll let them make sure they lock, and now we good to go. Now we just gotta check out. Just like that, y'all, we got our container. We in and out pretty much like 20 minutes. It wasn't that bad. I came in, and it's a spot that I've been to a couple times already, so it was pretty easy for me to find. Now, one thing that's gonna be pretty difficult once you come to the port is communicating with the crane operators all the way at the top, because you have to communicate with them through sign. So my container was in the first row all the way at the top. So once he got under my truck, all I signaled was first row, and I tapped my head so he knows it's the first one at the top. And now, y'all, it's pretty simple. All we got to do is find the exit, run through all the cameras, the machines and all that. The same way you got an in ticket, you're gonna get an out ticket. So this is the first one we're gonna be rolling through. As you see, once this container goes through, all the lights turn on and everything, it takes pictures. So now the same way we came in, we gotta go through here. But instead of getting an entrance ticket, we're gonna get an exit ticket and then we're good to go. This is how it looks, y'all. Got our exit ticket, now we can dip. Now all we gotta do is go deliver this and then come back because I gotta pull another one out of here. This container actually weighs 47,000 pounds, y'all. YouTube, what's up? So I wasn't able to vlog me picking up this container because I didn't have to go into the port for this container. This is a container that I picked up on Friday and I brought back to the yard. All I had to do was, because it was already full. It was already full, so all I had to do really was pick it up and come drop it off somewhere in like Perth Amboy, New Jersey. I'm somewhere down here. I'm like an hour late to my pickup because I was helping somebody start their truck this morning and that delayed me. And the drop was already an hour away, but second container for the day. Then I am gonna vlog me having to go to Mahers, I don't know how you say that port, but I gotta drop this container off and then I gotta take the chassis back to the yard. This container gave me a little bit of issue to alley dock. As you know, the shorter trailers are harder to park than, you know, like 53 footers and whatnot. It gave me a little bit of a hard time. I had to pull up twice. I mean, it's not bad for a 20-foot container. I mean, the truck is kind of crooked, but at least the container is parked the way it should be and they can get the ramps under there. Yeah, so far so good with this port shit. Honestly, I've been feeling extra spoiled with the port work and the flatbed work because I haven't had to come to a warehouse in a while, and having to come to a warehouse just kind of humbled me. Like, there's 3 trucks in front of me. I got here an hour late. So, you know, when you get to a warehouse late for your appointment, you gotta wait forever. But at least they gave me a door and hopefully they can get done fast because I gotta take this back to the port, drop off the container, and then I could go to the yard with the chassis and go home. Right, yeah, so this is what the end of the day is looking like. We're at Mahers, say the name of this port. But what we gotta do is we gotta pull up, stop there. We gotta open our doors to show that we're empty because, you know, we're in the empties only line. And then we're gonna drop off this container and then we're gonna take the chassis back to the yard and we're gonna go about our day. Just like that, yeah, I wasn't able to record because there was a, you know, like I said, these port people are pretty, they're pretty anal about recording, so I didn't get to record. But they took my trailer off and now pretty much going home.